How often do you see drivers do this? At this junction in Salford, you see people running red lights time after time after time. It's not just here, of course, and this is an offence that sometimes has the most awful of consequences.
She filled our lives with light. She was innocent, she was happy, you know, she loved dancing, she loved singing, she loved us.
Can you tell us what happened on that day?
Well, it was a normal Saturday morning. It was quite busy. We were going to go home via the school fair, and we got to the school crossing, which was behind the school, and you know, we pressed the button and we waited for the cars to stop. She took a couple of steps out in front because she was responsibly crossing, and I was encouraging her brother to catch up, and then in front of our eyes he ploughed into her massively fast, and he carried her off on his wing mirror, and I've got this very clear image of her being swept off her feet, and then she tumbled off, and by the time I got to her, it was almost like she was gone.
Alice was 9 when she died. Her family wanted us to show this dash cam footage of that moment. You can see the light turn red and her family starts to cross. A car in the right-hand lane fails to stop. The light had been red for 7 seconds. Last month, Kadir Hussain was jailed for 8 years for causing Alice's death by dangerous driving.
It seems bizarre that you would take any risks, let alone breaking the law, in order to get somewhere slightly faster.
Yeah, the real risk isn't being caught, it is actually killing somebody. From my point of view, he's gratuitously killed my child. He slaughtered her in the street for nothing, for no reason at all. You know, he battered her to death, and you know, any adult should know that when you speed through a pedestrian crossing, there is a risk that you could batter somebody to death. We just can't live without her. She was a little bit like each of us, and she was a kind of a bridge between all of us, and to go from being a sort of a solid square of a family to a wobbly triangle is really hard to live with.
Alice's story, sadly, isn't the only one, and it's perhaps not surprising that drivers think they can get away with running red lights. We asked every council in the UK how many of their traffic lights had red light cameras on them. 157 responded, and the short answer is very few. There are only 5 in all of Scotland. West Northamptonshire turned all of theirs off in 2011. In London and Greater Manchester, fewer than 4% of traffic lights have a red light camera, and across the UK, just 1.5% do. Increasingly, you're more likely to be caught by another driver's dash cam. Cases like these released by Greater Manchester Police.
You know, everyone knows that the police can't be everywhere, but a lot of motorists now have dash cams, so effectively they are assisting us in delivering road safety messages.
Do you think people understand the risks that there are associated with it?
No, I don't think they do. There is always a consequence of your actions, whether that be you go through and you are discovered committing an offence, then you know you face some form of prosecution. There is a bigger picture to everything, and just saving a couple of seconds by jumping a red light, you know, you're not thinking about the wider society, are you?
On the morning she died, she was on her way to church to clean it. That's what she did every Thursday morning for as long as anyone can remember.
On that morning, Pat Grace was hit by an HGV which had gone through a red light. The driver, Darius Machinsky, fled the country. He was extradited back to the UK and jailed for 3 years.
This driver in this case wasn't distracted for just a second. It was a substantial period of time while he was driving a heavy goods vehicle through a village at 9:30 in the morning. It couldn't be much worse. He didn't see anything. It could have been a crocodile of school children crossing that road at that time, you know, and he wouldn't have seen them because he wasn't looking. My dad, Mike, is had the biggest impact on him. They were always together, so now he hasn't got that. So he's lost even more than a wife. He's lost his everything because the chances of being caught are so few and far between. There must be drivers running red lights all the time and getting away with it. I think there should be more cameras on red lights. There should be less chances of getting away, or perhaps more public education about sharing a dash cam footage and so on with police, so that they can, action can be taken. The drivers can be prosecuted as a learning experience.
It was that dash cam footage that was crucial in convicting Alice's killer.
We bought a dash cam after this happened, and we've reported 4 people who went through red lights. It has really opened my eyes to how unprotected we are. We were doing everything that we could have done to stay safe, but the only thing that was keeping us safe was a red light bulb and the presumption of goodwill from the drivers. I felt like this is being treated dismissively as if it's an accident, when actually it was a pure atrocity. On her headstone we've put joyful, creative, gentle, kind, bright, loving, because those are the things that we want the world to know about Alice. We don't want them to look at that headstone and think, oh, only got to 9, I wonder why that was, because then her killer has overwritten everything that she was, and it's not fair.
And at the crossing where Alice died,
well, shortly before the sentencing, some serious speed and red light cameras were put up at the crossing where Alice was killed. I'm glad they're there. Now they've got the cameras, and it's cost whatever they would have cost, plus her life and my lifetime of grief, and Chris's and Joey's, and our parents, and all the ripple effects that come out of a life without Alice in it.
Greg Milam, Sky News.